Hey, how you doing? Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, so welcome, and today we're going to work on the third video about Tai Chi walking. And now we're going to start to present the walking modes that are found within the forms, within the Tai Chi Ch'uan forms. And over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be working on front walking, we're going to work on backwards walking, and sideways walking. So we're going to start with front walking and take it from there, all right? So let me go ahead, I'm going to show you what it looks like going towards you, towards the camera. Let me start back here. All right, so here we go. And I'm not going to really be worried, my hands can just kind of, they can really set anywhere you want. I'm starting out, I have my, my left leg forward, but anyway, I just want you to kind of take a look and see what's going on here. Okay, so that's our front walking. If you haven't seen, probably the first video would be the best one to re-watch. If you haven't seen the first video, I'm going to share a link right here that you can go and watch it. And I would recommend you watch that before we get into this, because this is a lot about your weight shifting, about utilizing the breath, and a lot of kind of the fundamentals that lay the groundwork for us to be able to do something like forward walking. But to start out with, let's talk about it a little bit. So let's break it down. Let me do it this way so we can get a sense of it going this direction. And I'm going to do it with, this is a move called Parting the Wild Horse's Mane. So you'll see it kind of how it's within the form. Then going back, I'll do a different move. All right. So here's Parting the Wild Horse's Mane. But look, the footwork is pretty much exactly the same. Okay, so that's going this way with what we call Parting the Wild Horse's Mane. Now I'm going to go the other way with something called brush knee push step. Hopefully I don't run over low key over here. So here we go, brush knee push step. All right, so brush, knee, push step. So you notice that both of those, even though the hands are doing something pretty different, the footwork is exactly the same, and that's really what we want to work on, because this is Tai Chi walking, right? And so let's break down the footwork here. I'm going to go this way again, and we're going to I'm going to walk towards the camera. So if you wanted to, I'm going to be leaving with my, this is my left leg here. Okay, so if you want to mirror me, then you would just be putting your right leg forward, whatever's possible, whatever you feel more comfortable. And again, my hands, doesn't matter where my hands are. So first of all, what we want to do is we are going to be in a front stance. And the front stance is really, it's one of the most important, one of the most fundamental moves in, not moves, but postures in all of Tai Chi Ch'uan. I'm going to put a link up here. If you're not familiar with a front stance, this is a great video to kind of get you acclimatized to what that feels like to be in a front stance. And I really get into specifics with this one. But real quick, I'm just going to give a real quick overlay. If you've already watched that video or you're familiar with front stance already, here's a quick overlay. Whatever leg you have forward, that leg's going straight ahead. I can see my toes here, right? I can see my foot. My knee is above the heel. I'm in a wide stance here, a wide stance. I'm not on a tight rope. My heels are not on the same line, but I'm on a train track. So my heels are on two separate lines. I have more weight in the front foot, less weight in the back foot, 60, 40, 70, 30. And my hips and shoulders are going straight ahead. So they're basically following the same line as that front foot, whatever the front foot is, because we are always changing it. So, but my hips are going the same direction as that. Here's a 45-degree angle in the back leg. My back leg is slightly bent at a 45-degree angle. If my hips were that way, then we would be moving like this, right? But we don't want to be moving like that. We want to have this locked in so it's more boxy. Hips and chest are moving the same direction. They're facing the same point as that. Imagine lasers coming out, going the same direction as that railroad track here in the front leg. All right? So that's what the front stance, again, overview. So what we're going to do is this is 60-40. Remember, we have more weight in the front foot. So I'm going to pull my weight back. So this is my left leg. So as I pull my weight back into the right leg, my left leg is getting very light. Right leg is getting super heavy. So let's say this is 80 or 90%. This is 10%. So you come back, and then you open this foot. Okay, so I'm going from right down the track, and then I open it 45 degrees. And then I'm going to pour my weight into this foot. I keep pouring until this leg lets go, and I go into what we call a T-step. This is, it kind of looks like a T, right? Both feet together. So that's a T-step. So again, I'm pouring the weight into the left foot, keep pouring. So from here, 60, 40, let's say, this becomes, so 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, I open this foot. This is 5% or 10%. Now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I keep pouring it in until this foot is compelled to move. There it goes. Boom, T-step. I'm basically on one track here. Now I'm going to step out. All of my weight is in the left leg. Right leg is super light and can do anything. Now I'm going to step out onto that train track, and I place my heel down, and then I'm going to release my weight from the back leg. I have not released my weight when I make the step. So I'm not going like that. I'm stepping with the weight in the left leg. Then I release the weight, and now I'm in a front stance on this foot. Front stance again, all those principles, we want to use those in there. Now we're going to do the same thing, but on this side. Pull the weight back, open up this foot, pour the weight now into my right leg. T-step, I'm on this track. Keep the weight under this foot, this leg. Step, keep the weight still here. Now release it, and now I'm in my front stance. Boom, 60, 40. Pull back, open, shift, T-step, step, release, front stance. Pull the weight back, open, shift weight, T-step, shift the weight, 60, 40. Pull the weight back, open, T-step, 60, 40. Okay? So that's really breaking it down as much as I can into what it should look like. We can kind of go this way too with that. So a couple things to keep in mind. Why are we doing this weird thing? Looks kind of like a bug or something, right? When I first was learning Tai Chi Ch'uan, I was watch these guys and they'd be doing this kind of this motion. I'm always like, it looks like I used to have a stick insect as a pet when I was a kid. And the stick insect had this weird way of kind of moving. It would kind of come forward and move back a bit. I was like, it looks like that stick insect that I used to have. So why would we be doing that? Because it looks like we're kind of wasting time. We're like adding something here, right? Because we're pulling back, then we're going forward, pulling back and going forward. But there's a very good reason why we do this. And the reason is because we want to create, I'm going to go this way towards you, but we want to create, by coming back, I'm allowing this foot to become light. And when I open it up, now this is creating the back step, the back foot for this front stance. So that's my 45-degree back leg. See that? Right now it's the front leg, so it goes straight ahead. Remember, the back leg is 45 degrees. When I come back, now I create, that's it right there. There's my 45 degrees. Then when I step, I shouldn't really have to adjust that. Maybe I make a slight adjustment, but it should be pretty, pretty mild adjustment because it's already made just in that little move. The other thing, obviously, that it's doing is that if I didn't do that and I just step through, this feels pretty wobbly. Having both feet like that and then I have to adjust on the back end, it just feels weird. If you come forward and then adjust, it feels clunky and weird. So we go from here, we pull back, we open up, we're adjusting. So it's for stability, that when we come forward, now I'm nice and stable, but it also creates that back leg. So then we come forward, now bam, it's already in place. Now let's do it for this one. See, created, boom, 60-40, front stance. One more. Okay, good. Next thing I want to talk about is, remember I said that when we were talking about the front stance, that we want to see the foot. Right? You always want to see your foot. And we are closing your quad here. We're coming straight ahead like that. We want to have that, we want to be able to see this foot when we're in that front stance. But look, let me do it this way, you can really see it. Here I am, you can see I'm in my front stance, right? I can see my foot. I come back, but now watch. See how my knee is way, way over the toe. This is not the principle right here. I'm way over. Now it's okay. So the rule here is when you're doing the front stance, i.e. when you're doing your parting the wild horse's mane or your brush knee push step or your walk, when you go into that front stance, that's when all those rules apply. You want to be able to see your foot. When you're in transition, so I'm coming into the T step, yes, I'm going to be way over my toe with my knee, but that helps me step out, and then I go into my front stance. So now my knee is above my heel. All right, so that's kind of a lot of times people say, well, you just said you need to see your foot, and I'm like, you're way over your foot. Yeah, because that's transition to the front stance, all right? Let's go through this a couple times. Now we kind of know it. Now we want to make it a little bit more smooth. We want to make it more fluid, right? So here we go. And let's bring in the breath with this. I'm going to have my hands just here. So we inhale. We keep inhaling. and then we exhale. We inhale, and then we exhale. Inhale, and exhale. One more. Inhale, and exhale. Okay, see what's happening there? The inhale contains the step. Then the exhale is when I release all that mass from my foot. See that? So I'm inhale, 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 and now the exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. All right? So we always want to keep in mind that the inhale includes the step. My weight is still under that foot. Then when the exhale comes, that's when I release my energy out from the back foot. That's the exhale, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's get a little bit more fluid with it. Excellent. Okay, good. So now let's look at some variations of that kind of step. Okay, so here are some variations that I can show you. And you know, you can, again, we're talking about Tai Chi Ch'uan. This is not like, it wasn't like chiseled in stone or something. And then, you know, it's been passed down. This has been passed down to tradition from teaching. It was in secret for a long time, and it's passed down from different traditions, different Tai Chi Ch'uan schools, different provinces, and different teachers who had different emphases. And so it's there are variations in the movements, and those variations that's the part of the art. Right? This is a part of the art of the form. You're going to see things, maybe you've been training under a certain teacher or a certain lineage, and then you come across my video and you're like, what in the heck? You know, I learned Yang style, and doesn't look like my Yang style. It might not look like your Yang style, but this is a form of Yang style that we're learning here. So it's just variations on the teachers, you know, so that, you know, anyway. So when we talk about variations, I want to show you different ways that we can do that step. First of all, we learned this one, which we're kind of doing the T-step, front stance, back up, T-step, right? So we're doing that one. So it's almost like if you had two lines, and then we're kind of moving diagonally, like this, boom, 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 right, diagonally like this, along a train track. Here's a different way of doing it. We can start here. Again, the hands are not really important because we're just learning the walk. So here's this way. Same thing, we're pulling back. But now we're coming, it's more like a U. See that? Everything else is the same. I keep my weight in this foot. Then I transfer the weight. But see that U shape? It's not just a V shape anymore. We're not really going into that T step anymore. We're traveling around with the U to here. So this is just another variation. So, you know, I encourage you just to explore the different ways of doing it. That's a U step. Another way of doing it is that we could drag the toe. Here we go. So this is kind of a U step, but then we're dragging that toe and stepping out. So I'm dragging the toe. See, I'm dragging my toe. See, the rest of it is pretty much the same, but then this, see, I'm dragging that toe this way. All right, so that's another way of doing it. Here's another way. Guys, brains are exploding. But anyway, here's the third way. Remember we talked about those tracks. Now look at this way. See what's happening there? I pretty much eliminate the zigzag or the U. I'm just pretty much stepping, moving down the lines. Well, you probably are thinking, well, why the heck are you teaching me those other ones? That's the easiest way to do it. And it's the less, it's the most economical way. In certain respects, yes, but even though it looks simpler, even though it looks more simple, it's actually more advanced because you have to know where your front stances are. You have to know where that, in your mind, you have to have trained that long to where you know that track in and out. So when you move forward, you know that your foot is going to land on that track. I know exactly where my foot needs to go, that when I turn out, I'm going to be on my railroad track in a front stance, because when we're starting out and we're starting to learn this stuff, this is what usually happens. You come forward. We're on the tightrope now, see that? So we didn't know where our rails are. We stepped in the middle of the track and then we're in trouble. So I would recommend, explore all of these. They're all fun. They all feel amazing when you're doing them. But I would just say that, start on the one that we were working on with that kind of that T-step where we're kind of going in with that diagonal zigzag pattern. And then, try that one with stepping through. But I would say just start with, where you're coming in, you get nice and you get your position, and then you step out, right? So work on that. All right, let's just do it a couple times. I'm going to go this way. We'll come back. Here we go. So I'm going to step out with my left leg here. So we pull back. So here we are, Tai Chi Ch'uan, front walking. Now let's bring in the breath. Inhale, remember. Inhale, 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 inhale. And here's the exhale. Inhale. One more. Good. Okay. Next thing I want you to do, once you kind of have that mechanics, is I want you to try to look ahead while you're doing it. We get wrapped up, we're like this. Okay? Once we kind of have all those mechanics down, now we want to be able to hang the head up proudly. And then when we're moving forward now, we're looking straight ahead. I'm about ready to fall over. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. Excellent. Okay, so that is our Tai Chi walking, front walk, being used within the form. All right. Next week we'll do walking backwards, Tai Chi walking backwards, and then we'll do sideways. All right. You guys have a good week. Take care. Bye.